This is CBS.
Good evening, I'm Kim Benson. Coming up, 2 people lose their lives in separate fires downtown today. We'll have a report. The State Department of Highways has the ICE plan on hold, we'll explain, and a folk art Christmas tree. We'll show you.
I'm Jim Thomas. We had a record-breaking low this morning, not quite as cold tonight.
I'm Garrett Alon. The Judson dreams have come to an end. The Giants shut down and shut out the Cowboys, and the Spurs have some magic of their own.
Stay tuned. That and a lot more next on Eyewitness News at 10.
You come on smooth.
Introducing Bud Dry.
You lead me on. You get me going, and then you're gone.
Cold filtered for smooth taste. Dry brewed for no aftertaste. Bud Dry. It comes on smooth, then it's gone.
You come on smooth, and then
one night, several months ago, a decision was made at NCNB Texas that set us immediately to work with one thing in mind. It meant adding more locations to the largest bank network in the state. One branch every 5 working days. It meant introducing new products like Resource Money Market Savings, Reward Plus Checking, and High Yield Plus CDs. This one thing drove us to make more loans. Loans for homes, for education, for cars. Millions of dollars a day for personal and commercial loans. It meant getting better at what we do. So we're retraining, updating our systems, and upgrading our services. All of this was done with one thing in mind. And what's the one thing that could mobilize Texas' largest bank? You. NCNB Texas, banking from your point of view.
KENS TV, an equal opportunity employer.
Eyewitness News, San Antonio's top-rated satellite newscast.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. A tragic end for a lifelong resident of San Antonio after her house goes up in flames. Firefighters were called to the 2500 block of West Houston just after 4 this afternoon. There they discovered 98-year-old Angie Gillette was trapped inside the burning structure. But high flames and thick smoke from the 2-alarm blaze hampered rescue efforts. Gillette had no other relatives and was living alone at the time of the fire. Ironically, a neighbor who had cared for Gillette also died earlier this week. Arson officials are still investigating. Total property damage has not been assessed. Firefighters were also fighting high winds and cold temperatures early this morning downtown when a house caught fire, sending flames to nearby homes. The early morning blaze in the 1300 block of West Houston took the life of the owner, 29-year-old Mark Galindo. Firefighters believe Galindo went into the kitchen to keep warm. That's where his body was discovered right after the fire was brought under control. High winds spread flames to 2 neighboring houses and set a porch on fire across the street. Investigators are still trying to determine the cause of the blaze at this hour. Well, the cold weather also caused some tense moments for Southwest General Hospital overnight. The freezing temperatures snapped a power line to the hospital, causing a power outage. The situation got even worse when the hospital's emergency generators failed. Staff had to manually operate life support systems until power was restored around 7 this morning. The power went out around 3. Fortunately, nobody was injured and patients did not have to be evacuated. Well, the State Department of Highway workers are ready and waiting tonight just in case ice causes problems on San Antonio bridges and roadways. Robert Rodriguez says the ice plan is in order to keep freeway traffic flowing smoothly and safely.
As the temperature drops, the threat of sleet and snow becomes all too real. Ready with an ice plan is the State Department of Highways. Should roads ice over, they and the San Antonio Police Department would go into action, closing down some highways and spreading crushed stone on other frozen freeways. San Antonio's latest ice plan includes the new elevated sections of Interstate 10, areas targeted because, like the freeway bridges below, they would be the first to freeze over and create unsafe road conditions.
We do have contingency detours in place on Interstate 10. You'd simply travel on the lower level, and the same would be the case for Interstate 35.
Amongst the main lane bridges and roadways that would be closed down first, Interstate 10 from Loop 1604 to south of Wurzbach, and I-10 from Crossroads Mall to Hildebrand. Motorists traveling I-35 and Loop 410 could also expect closures, with traffic being rerouted to the access roads. If you normally travel US 90, Highway 281, or Interstate 37, chances are your regular routes will not be interrupted. Still, you will want to take some precautions.
Drive a little slower, leave more space between you and the vehicle in front of you, avoid sudden stops or sudden turning movements on the highways.
With lower temperatures on the way and precipitation expected in San Antonio, the city's ice plan could go into effect any day now. Highway officials ask that you use caution and common sense when out driving. Robert Rodriguez, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
You know, when we have cold weather like tonight, many homeless people seek warmth and food under a bridge at I-37. Well, as we told you last week, the city asked the Good Samaritan Community Church to stop feeding hungry people there, and the church had to move elsewhere. But in the holiday spirit, the city changed its mind, and the church will now be allowed to stay under the I-37 bridge.
Well, it's kind of like being home. You've been away, and we feel like that we're back where we belong, and we hope to be able to come down and, you know, continue every week.
And because everybody wait for them, you know, every Saturday morning. I mean, it's something to eat, something, you know, in your stomach or something. I mean,
the city will allow the church to continue feeding hungry people there every Saturday on one condition. The church will now be responsible for picking up the trash each Saturday. Well, President Bush and French President Francois Mitterrand held talks today on the Caribbean island of St. Martin. President Bush said that he and Mitterrand are very close together in the way they regard the changes taking place in the Eastern Bloc countries. Their discussions touched on the current events in Eastern Europe, disarmament issues, and the problems in Lebanon. The French leader also noted that European events were moving quickly and may move even quicker in the future. They were also expected to discuss the future of the NATO alliance. A Chinese family hoping to defect to Taiwan hijacked a China Air 747 early today. A textile factory manager, his wife and son, hijacked Flight 981 with 223 people on board shortly before it was to land in Shanghai, China. The plane finally landed in Kyushu, Japan, with only 30 minutes of fuel left in its tanks. While waiting for a passenger stairway, the hijacker was shoved out the open door by a plane attendant, breaking his pelvis and both legs. The Chinese government is demanding the return of the hijackers, passengers, and plane as soon as possible. The family says they wanted to leave China because of the government's crackdown on pro-democracy protests in June. Coming up, people are busy spending money at area malls, buying those last-minute Christmas gifts. And a Christmas tree unlike any other is on display at La Mansion Hotel. We'll have more right after this.
There are a lot of expenses involved in having a baby. That's why I'm glad our doctor told us about the health care card from the Baptist hospitals. For only $10 a year, it'll save us a lot.
Like up to $200 towards out-of-pocket hospital expenses.
And I'm entitled to a private room at a semi-private rate. Now we can concentrate more on getting ready for little Jessica.
John.
Do your walls.
For a free brochure on all the care card benefits, call 225-BMHS, exclusively from the Baptist hospitals.
The extraordinary gift, Giorgio Beverly Hills. Now our Traveler Bag or Champion Crew, $23.50 each with any Giorgio purchase of $20 or more. At Dillard's.
Well, if you've been Christmas shopping the last couple of days, you know how crowded the malls are. But you may not have noticed something different this year. As Gina Galaviz reports, most people are buying now and paying now rather than later.
The ring of a cash register, a familiar sound each Christmas. Fighting your way through crowded malls, searching for the perfect gift for that special someone. But how do you pay for it all? Cash, credit, or check? This year, paying with a check appears to be the answer. Telecheck Services says there is a 3% increase in the total volume of checks written by consumers over last year. Since the day after Thanksgiving, when the holiday shopping season officially began, Telecheck has monitored more than 75,000 check transactions in the San Antonio area. That's worth more than $8 million. And the average amount written, about $88.64. One reason for the increase is the availability of checks to the consumer.
Over 90% of all households have checking accounts, and of those, 80% shop where they know their check is welcome. On the other hand, credit cards, only 50% of the total population has a credit card.
But why are holiday shoppers keeping their credit cards in their wallets?
It's just easier to keep track of my money that way. So I just write a check.
We're building a new house for one thing, and we're going to be having lots of new expenses, and I'd rather pay for it now than later. And, you know, the charge, you have to pay for it eventually.
Telecheck predicts consumer spending will continue to increase, especially since there is one extra Saturday shopping day until Christmas. Gina Galaviz, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
No doubt about it, there is no place like San Antonio during the Christmas season, especially downtown. And at the La Mansión del Rio, there is a Christmas tree like no other. La Mansión has decorated their tree with artwork from different regions of Mexico. Decorators spent 2 weeks in Mexico searching for the folk art ornaments.
Went to different areas and different villages, and like one area or one state will work with paper mache, another one will work with tin. Outside of Guadalajara, they work with wood and other materials, but I bought a lot of wooden violins and wooden guitars.
The folk art Christmas tree will remain on display through New Year's. Coming up, Jim Thomas is up next with some news about possible sleet in our area. Stay with us.
It's a possibility toward morning. You have to watch it real carefully when you get up in the morning. Be careful.
Especially on your way to church, it could be
the highway.
Wear your paper. You gotta look to see the light. You gotta read us to get it right.
This Sunday's Light helps you ring out the old and ring in the new. Viva brings you a spectacular photographic review of the 80s. TV Week looks at how television has changed, and the 80s hottest newspaper games, Loteria and Strike It Rich, give you another chance to win part of $50,000. So pick up this Sunday's Light and say adios to the 80s.
We're your Sunday paper. The Sunday Light.
He's going! Oh, if I see him, I'm gonna flip out. I mean, totally flip out.
This holiday season, give yourself silent nights. Give your teenager a private phone line.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna...
Be sure to watch for all your Disneyland friends in the Hollywood Christmas Parade.
Sunday afternoon at 3:30 on KENS TV.
Get ready for the big freeze.
That's right, the big freeze. Of course, it's not going to be any colder than it has been, but we could see precipitation, which might be a little bit different. Let's take a look at the satellite photo, and as we do, we show you a lot of cloudiness, which has been throughout Texas today. Again, running up from the southwestern part of the state, all that moisture pulling in, and that's one of the ingredients we needed to produce some moisture in the form of rain or freezing rain late tonight or tomorrow. It doesn't look like the right conditions will be with us until the early morning hours, but there is a possibility when you get up in the morning there could be some sleet out there, so we're going to have to watch it very carefully throughout the night. Of course, back to the northwest, cold temperatures combining with the clouds to produce a lot of snow, and also more snow occurring where they don't need any more in the northeast. A series of snowstorms has just been dumping a lot of snow up there. Cold air moving to the southeast tonight. Quiet as far as precipitation, but they will also see a developing storm system in that part of the country over the next 48 hours. Here's the cold front that moved through Texas the last couple of days, well south of us now, but that's allowing that cold Arctic air to flow southward. Another system to the north will bring more, so it's just one series of cold blasts after another. The gate is open and nobody's shutting it up to the north, and it looks like this cold air will keep coming south. Out west, nice conditions in California. In fact, California and Florida really have the warmest temperatures, so if you want some warmth, you're going to have to go to either side of the country. Across Texas tonight, again, the cold front well to the south and all that cold air in place. 16 in Amarillo, 35 in Brownsville. Not much of a contrast from one end of the state to the other. A lot of records this morning, about 50 across the nation, and a dozen of those here in Texas, including Abilene at 9 degrees. Austin and San Antonio dropped to 17. So a lot of record-breaking lows. There may be a few more tomorrow morning as well. As far as precipitation, right now it's into Oklahoma and the Panhandle, but there is some precipitation starting to be seen southwest of San Angelo, and we may see some near San Antonio tomorrow morning. Your forecast in just a minute.
For 24-hour-a-day weather updates, call WeatherTel at 470-KENS, a service of Eyewitness News and Nutrisystem Weight Loss Centers.
When the Lauders asked me to talk about Lauder for Men fragrance, I was speechless. I mean, if you asked me what I wanted to smell like, I'd say a tree, a new car, my old man, shaving. It's a hard thing to get a handle on. So I tried it. Now I know what I want to smell like. Lauder for Men, because scent matters. Now at Dillard's.
The stars are big and bright. The San Antonio Star, that is, in the Sunday Express News. Now bigger and brighter than ever before.
With more color and more pages full of entertainment news.
In Sunday magazine, San Antonio veterans tell their harrowing experiences in one of the most dangerous missions of World War II.
In sports, the inside story of boxing dynamo Mike Tyson.
And find out how you can attend our New Year's breakfast party free.
It wouldn't be Sunday without the Express News.
No precipitation out there right now, but a lot of cloudiness, and again, we may see some by tomorrow morning. 31 degrees, so the temperature is falling, and that's going to help give us some sleet if we start seeing that rain develop. Wind chill is at 23. That's because the east wind at 7. The wind chill is warmer tonight because the winds are lighter than they were last night. Last night we had wind chills in the single digits. 28% humidity and the barometer rising 30.24. Well, highs and lows today, 34 the high, actually warmed up to 34. Can you believe it? 17 was the record-breaking low. That broke the old record of 20 set back in 1951. 65 and 41, the normal high and low for this state. For tonight, cloudy, a 20% chance for light freezing rain or sleet toward the morning hours, low around 27, much warmer tonight than it was last night, a northeast wind at 5 to 10. Tomorrow, cloudy, a 40% chance of freezing rain, then light rain with a high of 39, still warming up. You can shed the coats by tomorrow, northeast wind at 10, and by the 3-day forecast, a chance of rain Monday and Tuesday, but still very cold. Again, we don't look for any rapid warm-up anytime soon, although the 50 on Tuesday is going to be warm compared to what we had today.
So, no chance of snow?
It doesn't look like it. As I told Fred this week, snow way.
Okay, thanks. Well, an historic treasure in San Antonio is on its way to Houston tonight, but not for long. It'll be back. It's going there to be restored. A Venetian gondola, or rather gondola, I cannot say that word, adopted by the River Sitters Olive Garden restaurant, was hoisted onto a flatbed truck today. It was lifted on the river marina with the help of local crewmen. The 21-year-old boat will be taken to Houston to be restored to its original splendor. Leonard Kirkham, a registered shipwright, oversaw the move of the circa 1968 gondola. Thank you. The gondola was donated to the city in 1980, but is in need of repair after renovations. It'll be brought back to San Antonio in time for February's Venice Carnival on the Riverwalk. Well, the Judson Rockets ran into something a little bit stronger than our cold weather. Gary DeLon has sports next. Gondola. Thank you.
I like boat.
Why can't I say gondola?
I like boat better. It's much easier to say.
Yeah, but it's not a boat. It's a gondola.
Well,
a vessel to carry somebody, right?